Hi everyone, this is my presentation over our end of module unit, and I chose to combine our ELA standards with science standards, and I chose a book called How a Seed Grows. I currently teach kindergarten, and I've chose this because it incorporates our ELA standards along with our science standards, and that's typically how we teach those subject areas, and we do not have a separate science time, so we do a lot of read alouds that teach students information. And this is actually a book, and the activities in this presentation are activities that I've used with my students in the classroom, and I thought that I could incorporate that into something that they might could do online, if there ever were to be an online course for kindergarten students, or maybe a child that was at home during this unit. It would be something that they could work on when they're not in the classroom. And so the first thing I did was I came up with our overview. And the way I designed the overview, I designed it more for the parents, and something that the parents would go over with the students, and hopefully answer any questions and help them to understand their task and what they're expected to do. And it's also a great way for them to go step by step in the process that I've designed it. And so in the overview, it instructs the students to look at the instructional video. And in the instructional video, I'm talking directly to the students and informing them on what they're supposed to do first, and then their next steps, and how they can turn in their work, how they need to respond to other students during their discussions, and when everything's due. And so in that instructional video, it's a great resource for the students to use so that they know what's expected of them. The next thing is where the students go and they are able to hear the story online. They're able to, through this read aloud video that's a YouTube video, there's a person that's reading the story to them. She actually incorporates a little puppet, so it's very age appropriate for kindergarten students, and something that they'll really enjoy listening to. And it's kind of a long book. This book's a nonfiction book. Even though it has drawing in it, it has lots and lots of information for the students. And so it's a great way for them just to kind of sit back and to listen, because this is a book that I would read to the students in the classroom as well. I would never expect them to be able to read this book at the age they are now. But again, it's a great nonfiction story, and it's got great illustrations with it, and it gives the students step by step on how to plant a seed, and then eventually seeing it as a plant. So then once they've watched the video, then they are to go to the discussion board. And so there I've instructed the students to write to inform others about how to plant a seed. And then I've told them to make sure that they give their steps, make sure that they have everything in order. One of our standards is to be able to write to inform others, and a how-to story. And so this would be like a how-to where they have to give the steps. Obviously, they're not going to have a plant before they ever plant their seed. So it's very important that they are able to give those steps. And even if they just give 3 of the steps, but the steps are in order, that's a huge accomplishment of that standard for kindergarten students. And so then they're instructed on how to post their writings, and then of course they're due by Thursday of the week, by 11:59 that evening, and then I want them to respond to two of their classmates. And in this explanation, they can give their peers feedback. They can give them ideas on things they could do to make it better, or things they might could do next time. And then we try to make sure we teach into giving good feedback, like a few compliments, and then maybe something to work on. And so then the next thing that they're going to look at is where they see the activity 1. It's how a seed grows flow map. And so they're going to be able to see these pictures. There's 8 pictures in all. The pictures are directly from the book, and so they're able to associate what they've seen in the story and heard about in the story, and then able to do an activity, putting those things in order. And so then here is an example of a flow map. And of course online they can find one, and then find pictures online or screenshot the pictures that are available for them, and then place them into the flow map and upload it. Or I give them other ideas and other options. If they're able to have access to a printer, they can print this off and then do the activity, take a picture and screenshot that, and upload it. And you wouldn't screenshot the picture, excuse me, but you would upload that picture of the final project. And then other options would be to draw it. They can draw their boxes and draw the things inside the boxes. And so what I'm going to be looking for is to see if they listened to the story and they retained and remembered the information in the correct order. And so then, in this activity, the directions tell them to make sure they turn it in by that Monday evening due date. And then with their activity 2, they have a picture of a plant and they're going to label the parts of that plant. I've already given them a word bank on the side so that they know exactly which parts I'm looking for. Things that, again, that was reviewed in the book and something we've talked about in class. And so they have options. They can find a picture of a plant and write the labels on that picture, like a picture of a magazine. They can be very creative where they cut the letters out of the magazine to make the words. They can obviously find a picture online and label it that way, or screenshot what I've provided for them and move the words so that they have a final product to be able to turn in. And so through this class, through all the discussions and the readings, and with our GAVS activity that we did, I was able to learn a lot about incorporating lessons online. I've used a smartboard a little bit. We have what we call an e-beam in our classroom, and we're able to have the students come up and manipulate pictures and put them into maps and do all kinds of things with sentences and with math. But this just opens another door for myself and for my grade level, for my students. So I'm looking forward to it. In the GAVS activity that I was involved in, it was a high school biology class, and so I was able to look and see what that teacher was doing in their classroom and having those students do, and then look at what I'm doing as a kindergarten teacher. And I was able to find this lesson that incorporated our science and English standards and used the GAVS lessons as examples and came up with this lesson here. So I look forward to using it with my students and incorporating all that I've learned through our classes this summer. Thank you for the experience.